And it's
and then question the promise from God to me, and just question everything. And
of course, I think the worst thing, the worst hit to me was that the doctors told me right then and there, you only have a 50% chance of ever getting pregnant again. Having lost that fallopian tube, you can't get pregnant with utilizing your right ovary. It's just not going to happen. The only way you can get pregnant is if you can get pregnant out of your left ovary through your left fallopian tube, and we don't have a clue what caused your ectopic. And in the morning, what woke me up was his phone going off next to me, and it was a text from my father saying, my flight gets in at 10 a.m., I'll be there by noon. And I just started to cry because I don't even remember the last time my dad had ever just dropped everything for me and been there when I wanted him.
And God just really took something that was
just a horrible situation to go through and used it for a lot of good.
And used it for a lot of good, and we didn't have to look for it. That's the crazy thing. We didn't have to question or justify or really dig, let's find some goodness. No, it was all around us, and it was just it was emanating around us and just floating around us, and you could just pick it up. It's like, wow, look at this, oh my word, look how this fell into place, and oh my word, look at this, and you should be dead, and you should have just fell asleep, not woke up, and just so many things. And through that horrible time, we saw the puzzle pieces of God putting together and say, man, look, I know this sucks, but look at this. Look what I did here. And I know this had to happen, and I'm sorry for that, but look at all these other things. And just, you pick yourself up and you move on.
So we waited the appropriate amount of time till the doctors gave us the go-ahead to start trying again, and we both were ready to, obviously we had been ready to have a kid anyways because we had already been trying, but we were both not in a position where we were so wounded still over what had happened that we didn't feel like we were prepared to start trying again. So baby was, Nathan was due on March 9th.
Why are you asking me this?
I'm
sorry.
Now I'm stuck on the other March. March 9th, and when that rolled around, we were 3 months pregnant with our son. I found out that I was pregnant on my birthday, and it was the best birthday present I could have ever had. I was sitting at, I was waiting for my period to start, and it never started, and I was like, okay, if it's not here by tonight, I'm pregnant. So I waited until the next morning and took a positive test, and I drove over to have lunch with my husband at his job, and I waited. Oh, I was so patient. I was so proud of myself because I'm a talker, obviously. I was just proud of myself for keeping it a secret until then, considering I knew the day before, even though I hadn't taken the positive test yet. So I said, oh, I stopped at the store on the way over here too, and I got something that I think you'll really like. I want you to come out and see it before you go back to work. So after he had finished eating and right before he had to go back to work, he comes out and he's like, what store did you stop at? I was like, oh, Rite Aid. He's like, what kind of cool stuff did you find at Rite Aid? Like, seriously. I was like, oh, I was just walking and it was something I saw in the aisle, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. Billy would really like this. So he walks out and he's looking in the car windows. He's like, I don't even see anything. I said, that's because it's in my pocket. And I pull out the positive pregnancy test, and he just freaked out, and we were probably looking like fools hugging each other and bouncing around in the parking lot. But so we were both really excited, and this time we both felt very strongly it was going to be a girl. So we had a girl name picked out, and we were very excited.
And mind you, I was a wreck the entire time.
Yes. Well, we were both very paranoid.
Very paranoid. Very much.
But they immediately got me in for blood work to make sure that my levels were rising properly and that there was no chance that it was going to be another ectopic. So, sorry. I'm out of water. Thank you, my love. That is not water.
No. But
And that is tea.
It's good.
It is good. But I was expecting water, so it was kind of like
Gotcha.
surprising.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Anyways.
You're welcome.
Okay, Maui. So we were both on edge the entire pregnancy. Well, our anniversary rolls back around, and
We couldn't figure out a name.
no, we found out it was a boy, and that put a huge damper on our name choosing, because we had chosen Nathan, but we couldn't agree on any other names. And we were taught, oh, what about this name? I love this name. Oh, no, not that name. Well, I like this name. Yeah, right. You know, that kind of stuff. So it was not going well. So our anniversary rolls back around, and my mom's like, I wanted to send you guys to the marriage conference weekend to remember getaway.
For family life.
For family life, for your anniversary. And she was so hesitant to tell me that. She's like, I don't want to offend you, because I don't think there's anything wrong with your marriage and that you need counseling or anything. I just thought it would be nice for you to get away. And I was like, Mom, but every time we hear the commercials for that on the radio, Billy and I are like, oh, I wish we could afford to do that. That sounds like it would be such a great experience. I said, that is awesome. I said, yes, please. So she sent us.
And you were how many months now? He's like 4 or 5?
4 or 5. Well, I was 5 months pregnant when we were on the getaway, but I was probably about 4 months when she told me about it. So, so it's May, and we're on the outskirts of Washington D.C. At this weekend conference, and I brought the baby name book, hoping that since we're here with Jesus, maybe Jesus will help us pick a boy name.
Yeah. Like take the wheel, or more like take the book, God, and pick a name.
Show us what it is.
Jesus, pick a name.
So we had chosen DC because it was on a weekend that our kids were with their mom. Again, we don't like to pawn our kids off on babysitters when it's our week with them, because we don't get to have them all the time anyways. So it was fairly close enough for driving distance that it wouldn't be too much of a hassle to make it a short weekend trip. So we get there, and the outskirts, it's a town called Reston, Virginia. So neither one of us had ever been there before. So we're at this conference, and during their opening service, introduction, whatever, they're introducing themselves to us, telling us what to expect from the weekend. Just
the opening of the conference.
Yeah, and the guy said something that really hit us both. He said, you know, we do these all over the nation, and we even have some in other countries that we do. And out of all the places that I've been to do these conferences, because he's their main speaker, this is my favorite town to have it in. And we were all like, what? It's kind of, okay. Okay. And he was like, it's not because it's the coolest place. It's not because there's so much to do here and so much to see here, and this is the most amazing city in the world. But it's because of the name of the town. He said, it's really unique. He said, Reston is comprised of 2 words. Rest on. And while you guys are here, over the course of the conference, I really want you to rest on the promises that God has given you in your marriage. And my husband and I just looked at each other, and when we got back to our room, I said, am I crazy that I want to name our son Reston? And he said, I thought the exact same thing. And we both just started crying, because we knew that was our name.
Well, she started crying.
Oh, yes. He had dirt in his eye.
Dirt in my eye.
Same thing happened at our wedding.
Yeah,
Go figure.
Lots of dirt around this area. Something crazy.
Anyways.
Moving on.
So we named our son Reston, and it's funny because everybody's like, "Oh, that's a really unique name. I've never heard that before." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not even sure it's actually a name, but it is now." And he's just such a blessing to our lives. He's
And if you saw the first part of this, remember the promise God gave me, and He basically said that I'm going to give you a child. And it's funny because I wasn't expecting, but God said, I'm going to give you a child. And it's something that I desired, is what He told me. And I look at my son, and I'm thinking, wow, you knew him. You saw him before he was born. You saw my son Reston before he was a thought. Because that's what God showed me. So I'm going to give you a son. You didn't say son, but I'm going to get you a baby. I'm going to give you that and hold on to that promise. And it really broke me whenever we had that ectopic. And, you know, you question everything. Did I hear from God? Was that true? And then I had to make a decision within myself. I was like, yeah, that was God. I know that is. Somehow, man, it's going to happen. The Lord's going to make it happen. And then when we had Reston, and I just can't get over. Every time I look at him, I'm like, God knew you, son.
Mm-hmm.
God knew you before you existed. And it's so precious to me. Good.
Well, which,
I don't know.
Which Bible verse is that where it says that he
Formed you?
and
Yeah.
He knew you before.
It says in Psalms somewhere. So, yeah.
I have it written down somewhere. It's one
Knitted
of my...
you together in your mother's womb. I knew you before you were born. My inner thoughts and everything He knew.
It is somewhere in Psalm.
And you're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's really cool. But Reston has just been such a blessing to everybody. He's brought our families closer together. He's brought our children closer together. He's just connected everybody in so many unique ways. And and one of the things that God had told Billy was that he was going to bring joy.
Yeah, he told me that.
And that is so him. He's almost 2.
Yeah,
He'll be
he's
2
gonna
next
just
month.
be full of joy.
But he's such a friendly, loving kid. He's so outgoing. He's so joyful. Don't get me wrong, he's a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
The terrible twos. But
we sent him away so we could do this video. Because we tried it, and it failed.
he's clingy when he's tired.
But anyway.
But he really is. He's just so much joy. And I'm never at a loss for people who want to babysit him because they just love being around him and his sweet spirit and his and just everything. He's just a great kid.